There's a mathematical thing, so it's looking at the hypothesis of equality among sample means. It's a statistics thing. Well, the method that is called for in the national standards is simply mathematically wrong. It's completely wrong, totally wrong. Well, it's in there. They can't fix it. They can't fix it. All the state, all 45 plus states have accepted this and made it law. Your state, you're prescribing for the teachers to do this wrong thing. Now what about experimental things? Well, there's an important thing in geometry called similar and congruent triangles. Okay? So in geometry, you think about what you do. You have this problem, you bring to bear the theorems that you had from the past, you figure out, you decompose the problem, try to figure out which theorems are practical, and you try and do a proof, or at least in the olden days, you used to do a proof, but of course under Common Core, we've transcended proof in geometry. But anyway, all that aside, the main point of geometry. So you remember somewhere in the back of your mind, if you don't use similar and congruent triangles in your everyday life, you remember angle, side, angle, side, angle, side. See? I can see little eyes twinkling, opening, yes. And you could learn it again, by the way. You learned it once, you could learn it again. Okay, but they are too smart. They're not going to do it that way. They're going to use something called rigid motion. Okay? So, and this is another way. There's lots of ways to do things. In fact, one of the things they specialize in these national standards is confusing students. Okay? So they have what they call alternative strategies or multiple strategies or alternative algorithms or multiple algorithms or student-invented algorithms and all this stuff. Okay? You know what? You should learn the standard algorithm, because that's the best way, the easiest taught way, the easiest understood way, the most efficient way. And yes, you should learn conceptual understanding. You should understand why it works. If it's in order to divide fractions, invert and multiply, well, you need to know why this works. But you don't need to know 5, 7 other ways because you'll get confused. I promise you. We know that. That's what they're telling the teachers to do. All right, so they have this rigid motion, and it is taught to math majors in college, universities, in their maybe junior year, but it's never ever been successfully used in K-12 education in the United States, in any state, in any county, in any school district, in any city, in any town, ever. So hey, we're going to do it in the whole country though. Should be no problem. All right. So I just want you to know that all these textbooks are coming in that say Common Core aligned on them. And they are a compendium of progressive education ideas on how to teach, particularly in math. All this inquiry-based discovery learning stuff that was a fad back in the early 90s and was another, some of it was in the 1960s new math that was after Sputnik. And it's all coming back again. And we've had a lot of problems with it. So how do you add or subtract multi-digit numbers? Well, I think you stack them and then you start in the ones column. If you're subtracting, you borrow or regroup, depending on which terms you use. And if you're adding, you carry. Okay, remember that? All right. So no, they're not going to do it that way. They're going to start in the hundreds column. So all this is coming, and together with it is coming persuasive writing. Well, persuasive writing turns out to be how do you manipulate your parents? So, this is actually a lesson that's on the web. You can see it. So they have a lesson of we're going to do persuasive writing in early grades, and we're going to get recess, jungle gyms, things, equipment for the playground. So how do we use emotional language to tell our parents that, what do you mean? You don't want us to do anything fun at recess, and how to trigger emotional response than your parents and manipulate them. This is what they're teaching this as Common Core lesson plans. Okay, well, I look forward to that, parents. I think this should be fun for you. I don't think this is really what English teachers should be doing this. So now let's look at the long run, which is the civic-minded thing. So we have a system of liberty in the United States that helps make us the country we are. So we have checks and balances to guard our liberties of individuals and of families. And a part of this is a federal system. So what is federalism? It's instead of having a single government in charge of everything, we provide a protection from arbitrary power so people can move to different jurisdictions, and so there can be better matches to voter preferences, and there can be attempts at innovation and doing things differently and so forth. Okay, so we have this, and yet we're going to lose the opportunities that this federal system gives by nationalizing our curriculum in this country through Common Core. And what the meaning of federalism is that 51 states are better for the purposes of liberty and protection from arbitrary power and matching voter preferences and doing innovation. 51 states are better than one federal bureaucratic office, and 15,000 school districts are better than either 51 states or one federal bureaucratic office. We're going to lose that. All right, so I think this is very unfortunate. But I want to close by quoting from one of the writers who actually wrote the math standards. There were 3 people that wrote the math standards. This is Professor William McCollum of the University of Arizona. What did he have to say talking to a group of research mathematicians? I was there in the room, by the way. This is exactly what he said. I promise you. I was there. We also have the tape. The overall standards are, quote, not high, certainly not comparison with other nations, including East Asia, where math education excels. So congratulations. We lose our liberties, we lose our federalist system, and we get mediocre standards. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Croc TV.